Aloha and welcome into and as we always say, be good to yourselves, be kind to each other. Well, congratulations to everybody that followed us this past week in divisional week. We'll go over it real quick because I want to move on. We are headed to Vegas. My son and the editor-in-chief and the producer, director, and tech extraordinaire will be showing you guys on the tickets that he is going to be showing you. There are, let me grab my, excuse me here. I gotta review this real quick. What we are showing you in the first couple of tickets are, so we had Indiana, and I want to say that again, we told you to tease it. We did not like the 8.5. We did not like that. But I want to make a point. So one of the tickets I'm showing you is Indiana -7, which was a loser. I bet 320 to win 237, lost it all. But here is my point. I did not follow my own advice and buy down the points. I bought down a half a point thinking, oh, 7 is a key number, which it is. But in college football especially, 6s are just, and 3s are just as important. My point is, at 135 -7, I know it would have been not a lot of wise guys, a lot of pundits, a lot of professional bettors will tell you, you don't ever buy the half point. I agree with the half point thing as a whole, over the year, over a lifetime. But in the case of maxing, and had I bought the full 2 points, no matter how much it costed, I would have cashed. The next ticket we're showing you, the reason I'm showing you that is because, like we've talked about all year, or from about half the year when I discovered that first score thing, again, there's no guarantees in this game. But here's a parlay where we had Seahawks money line -350, the Rams money line -200. That almost didn't come through. And Indiana -350 at the money line versus Miami. We really loved all three bets. We were very, very sure, as sure as you can be. We were confident that all three of those would win outright in each of its own. Even with all those massive minuses, the ticket cost at $50 is to win 74. I to make a point that you still were getting odds on your money of plus 148. Therefore, now again, had you bet the first score that we showed you on everything, that would have taken the ticket price up to over plus somewhere in the range of a plus 1,000 and beyond, and so forth and so on. At a plus even 700, you bet maybe $10 or $15 rather than the 5, etc., etc. You guys who follow along, you guys get it. The final tickets, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tickets I'm showing you of futures. And I want it, as I did week 1, we told you, we showed you, and we told you. We are the only ones I can find on the internet that, and again, this is before the AFC and NFC championship, so we still have a game to go. But we love the Seahawks and the Broncos in the big game. And for $10, and you'll see that we liked it so much, we went back the next day and laid 10 more, so that in total, we'd be cashing out. If the Seahawks beat Broncos, it's going to be $26,000 for a $20 investment. And if it's the Broncos defeating the Seahawks, it would be a $22,000. Now, what this does is give us the leverage. On top of the fact, you'll notice I have other tickets with Broncos, Rams, and Rams, Broncos. For a $10 bet, it gets me $3,000 and $3,200. Patriots, Rams, a $5 bet gets me $3,500 and $3,000. Bears and Broncos, I threw that in there to show you that we also had the Bears and the Broncos forecasted, and the Bears and the Patriots. So we had, of the final 4 teams on each side of the ledger, AFC and NFC, we had 3 of each. We had the Bears, we had the Rams, and we had the Seahawks. We did not have the Niners. On the AFC side, we had Patriots, we had the Broncos, and we have who was it there? Broncos, Patriots, and who was the third? Sorry, and we did have the Bills. I don't have the ticket here, but if you guys want to call me on it, I can show you. The reason we took the Bills were a very bad odds line. They were the odds-on favorite AFC going in them in KC, but we went a little heavier because we did think that Josh Allen would make waves and get kind of far, and you don't want to lose leverage because as you can see, one of the tickets we don't have, or I forgot to bet, plain and simple, was Patriots Seahawks and Seahawks Patriots. But we're heading to Vegas, and we've already found out that there is an exacta going into this game. So now it's going to cost us $2,000 because we'll lay $500 or $600 on the Patriots to defeat the Seahawks at plus 500 and change, and at plus 200 and change the Seahawks to beat the Patriots, and we'll lay about 1,400. So either way, we'll at least come out with $3,000 each way. The AFC game is first, therefore we have more leverage because if Denver wins, now we know we need the Seahawks to win in the second game. So then I'll have lost the $2,000 on the exacta, but that's okay because now I stand to make $22,000 or $26,000, and I can still afford to bet about. I have a ticket there that if it's Denver and the Rams, I already have that covered. So Denver and the Rams gets me $32.60 or $3,010. I will add to that by betting Rams money line at the plus money because they're the dogs. I will bet about $2,000, $2,500, and I'll pray to God I lose that bet so that I will then be collecting my 5 figures for a $20 investment. I hope you guys follow that. Going into next year, what we plan on doing is all off season. This was our first year. We didn't have time through July and August to get ramped up to show you guys that. We did show you before kickoff these tickets, and we suggested you jumped on board. But if you didn't follow us blindly, you missed out on the big one. And what you'd have is massive leverage right now at a plus 30,000 ticket on the Denver and Seattle tickets. But we're going to do this again next year. And so follow us, give us a like, leave some comments as to anything that you may be confused on so we can make sure we dial it in for you guys. And we will absolutely give you guys all the guidance you need to turn $5 and $10 bets into 4 and 5 figure returns. And if you are blessed, as we've talked about, just think on this $20 bet that I had, if I would have put 100 on each rather than 10, I'd be looking at $250,000 right now for a $100 investment. Along those lines, some of the more recent ones that people missed out on was when the college football championship was making their decisions on who was going to be that last team in, Alabama, Miami. Miami, believe it or not, was a basically plus 10,000. So a $100 bet would have got you 10,000. Now, Miami didn't end up winning that game, but it would have given you the leverage to then bet Indiana at the money line, say 6,000, especially if you believed in Indiana, bet the 6,000 or 7,000, and you would have been able to get a return. I don't know what it was, plus 300 at the time. So it would have been an easy 2,000, but it gave you leverage for a $100 investment. That's what we're after. That's what we're trying to show you, that playing the parlays the way we can help you play parlays. Parlays are a loser overall. But if you guys follow the way we suggest that you can play a parlay, and some of the clever ways we figured out on how to bet more sure things with money lines, even big minus money lines, but then add a first score by covering the board on the first score, you will make money with us. You will generally double your investment on any random given NFL Sunday one game. And it makes it exciting because you're watching who's going to score first and all that. So that makes it fun. Anyway, real quick, let me get to the quote of the week. We're going in, and this is, guys, I'll be back home in time to give you guys the Super Bowl run-up, and we will do it between week on that 2-week break between the championship games and the Super Bowl. We will be there to give you guys a little bit of run-up and information and some info along the way and all that. But anyway, for this week, going into the AFC NFC Championship, it's choice, not chance, that determine your destiny. Gene Nidich, I believe Nidich, excuse me if I'm saying the name wrong, founder of Weight Watchers. I know that person was talking about something else, right? Food and weight, with it's choice, not chance, that determine your destiny. But with the Indiana Hoosiers and with the Super Bowl looming large, it is a lot of the coaches and players' choices and not chance that determine their destiny. And congratulations to Indiana for doing just that and making their destiny come to fruition. Real quick, last week. Okay, so last week we nailed Seattle. We told you we leaned Denver. We had a strong lean on Denver, but we knew that it was going to be a tight game and a butt squeezer. So we didn't want you guys to really stress that one out, but we did lean Denver, so we had that one. And we also liked the over in that one, which everybody and their brother knew that one. With San Francisco, Seattle, we told you that was one of our best bets of the year. We loved Seattle in a blowout. And then we did not have an over-under on that, really. We could see it going both ways. It kind of landed right on the number. So if you teased it or if you bought back like we teach you the 2 points, either way you went, you should have been fine and covered it. But we did have Seattle. Now, we did take a loss with Houston because we did not foresee C.J. Stroud having the horrible game he had with all the I think there was 8 turnovers in total on the Houston side of the ball alone. And we did take the over in that game where everybody and their brother was on the under. We did take the over, and we came home for you on that. So we lost the side with Houston, but we nailed the total on the over. Now, on the Rams, we had the Rams, but we were emphatic. Go back and check the tape that we told you, make sure you take it at 2.5. Buy back the points, and nailed it. It literally came into play because whether you had 4.5, you can buy back 2, or you were lucky to get 3.5, only having to buy back 1. We were emphatic in telling you to buy it back to 2.5, and we nailed that for you guys. So, all in all, a great week for us there. And congratulations again to all. Thank you guys all who have stayed with us and tuned in and who are jumping on board late. Remember now, with the draft coming up, we're going to have a lot of information for you guys and ways to make good money, easy money. We're also going to have, again, like these tickets my son has shown you, we are going to guide you to doing the exact same thing. And hopefully, if you're in a state that you're lucky, DraftKings or FanDuel, you have no problem access to the Exacta. If you're in a legalized sports betting state like Oregon, say, Arizona, or Nevada, Las Vegas, you'll have no problems access there. If you live in a state like mine, you're going to have to travel. I go to Vegas to do it just to get in the best of it at like the Circa or the Westgate, but generally at the Circa. So anyway, that's there. All right, so there's also a lot of news, guys. I meant to cover it, but with our trip looming and we're so far behind on gathering up everybody, getting on the road and getting rolling and all that. There were a bunch of coaches fired. There's a bunch of hires going on. At this point in time, I'm recording this. It's Tuesday. You got Sean McDermott's been fired from Buffalo, and already, the strong sense is Brian Daboll could be going there because of the past relationship with Josh Allen. Who knows? We've got New York Giants who have Harbaugh after Baltimore let him go. Atlanta took Cleveland's coach, the coach that got fired from Cleveland, Stefanski. He's now in Atlanta. Pretty good setup that he's going to. Quarterback is the big question there, because is Michael Penix their future? A lot of people say yeah, a lot of people say no. I think that I still need to see some things. I see glimpses. I see some of the tools needed, but there's also some things that he does that I don't care for. So we shall see. Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman, won the national championship. played like a maniac on that 4th and 5 or 4th and 6. He ran it not just for a first down, but touchdown. I guarantee you that the Raiders will be taking it first. If that wasn't at minus 8,000 right now, I'd tell you to go lay the house on that because that's as sure as it gets. Mendoza will go first. He will go to the Raiders, and he will change that franchise once they build around him. They'll need to build a line. They'll need, he's already got a tight end. He's already got a running back. They're going to need some wide receiver help. They're going to need some defense, some pieces on the defensive side. But that guy is looking good. Anyway, we got all that going for us, and then like I said, we'll be in Vegas this week. We will come back and show you guys. We are one of the only ones. I hear a lot of people on YouTube right now. Oh, we had Denver and Seattle going to the Super Bowl. We had Patriots and the Rams. We had Patriots and Seattle. That may very well be if you can go back to week 1 and hear them say that. We showed you the paper. We showed you the tickets. We showed you the receipts. So, again, guys, we thank you for that. And I know what you guys are here for. So, let's get into these two games. All right, the AFC and the NFC Championship. Oh, my God. Right now, as you can tell, I'm holding the Denver-Seattle combo. Bo Nix not being in there ripped our guts out, because without Bo Nix, the initial reaction for me was no chance. Patriots are playing excellent ball. They're the number 2 seed. They got it done against Houston's defense, which is far better than Denver's defense. Let's just be real right now. As good as Denver's defense may have been at one time throughout the year, as high as they might be rated by any metric or number, Houston's defense is much better. Houston's defense arguably was the number 1 defense in the NFL. Now, they did create problems with Drake May. He did fumble it 4 times, I think, and turned over twice on that. Also threw an interception. But he did throw 3 touchdown passes, including the one to Butte that was just like a dime. So, we've gathered as much data as we can on a short week. Again, it's only Tuesday night. We're leaving Wednesday. We won't be around to do the recording. We won't be around to collect more data. But from everything that we gather right now and all the others, the sharpest minds, the sharpest bettors, the sharpest handicappers that we follow and know and collect that data, compile it, and then hand it out to you is simply this. We personally don't feel that there's a pick to be made on this AFC game. But there is the 3/4 of the best who have the best records of the year, who are in the 60 percentile on all the handicapping, which any gambler knows. That's not, 9 out of 10. Nobody's at 90%. Nobody's at 80%. But if you're at 60%, you are winning. And you can make a living doing this even. The 60 percentile guys, the best of the best that we follow, all concur, 75%, I should say, of them concur, that Denver will cover the 5.5. We don't want you to stick your neck out on that, because all things point to. So we're going to give you a very strong lean on Denver. Of course, we're rooting for Denver. So we do have a vested interest, being fully transparent. But they do believe that 5.5 is too big of a swing. In essence, there's a lot of moving parts that go into this. But the strongest or best argument that I heard of the many that all compile this data is simply this. Prior to Bo Nix getting injured, Denver was about a 2.5-point favorite against Patriots. Now they are a 5.5-point dog. That is a 7 to 8 point swing, and the best of the best feel. Bo Nix, I love Bo Nix. I think that he is a starter in this league. I think that he's proven it with earning the number 1 seed this year. That being said, is he worth 7 to 8 points in a swing? Now, I get it. The backup quarterback that's coming in for Denver, you have to remember, Sean Payton, the coach, hand-picked this guy. 1, He doesn't have many starts. He's got 4. But if you look at the bad numbers of those starts, that was behind a horrible offensive line for Denver. Remember as well, New England initially drafted him to be Brady's understudy and heir apparent, supposedly. On top of all of that, he did have an amazing, like 300 or 400 yard game against San Francisco back when, again, Denver's offensive line wasn't that good, and San Fran was typical San Fran. Even any given year under Shanahan, San Fran is a team to be reckoned with. So, all that being said, we're praying that he can pull out a win. We're praying that Sean Payton can put together a game plan. There's not a lot of material out, so Patriots don't have a lot to study, and this kid will eventually, somehow, with the defense, with the run game, with Sean Payton's game plan, get the job done. Like Nick Foles tweeted out, don't lose hope, Denver fans, because the Patriots do have a history of having a hard time against backup quarterbacks in the playoffs. The joke that because he won the Super Bowl and beat them. But again, there's something to be said about it. So, that's where we come up with the strong lean on Denver. On top of the fact that we felt that, it's the longest shot. If you look at all the odds to win the Super Bowl right now, with only 4 teams, Denver at the Westgate, I found out today, is a plus 1,300. Online across the board, FanDuel, DraftKings, they're plus 1,100. Never in a Final Four in the AFC and NFC Championship have you ever had one team that was a 4-digit under the plus, like the plus 1,000. I don't know. I think the closest to that was a plus 6 or plus 700, which is not far, but plus 11 to Westgate said plus 1,300. That is crazy because you could bet that right now, and if they win one game this Sunday, you've then got the leverage or the offset to bet against them in any, no matter what, and taking even a money line, even with the Rams or the Seahawks against them, where the Seahawks are like favored to be like -8 against them or something, you'd be -400 on the money line, but you're still getting plus 1,300 on Denver. So that would still leave you room to make some scratch. So we're not telling you to take Denver plus the 1,300. We're saying that's something to consider going into this if you like Denver to win this game. Think about clever angles as to maximize your betting money. We have a lean on Denver plus the 5.5. We would say wait it out. We think this number could go to 6 or even 6.5, because who in their right mind on the public side of things are going to bet Denver? There has been a little bit of sharp money that has already come in on Denver, but we think that if you wait, you'll get better than 5.5. But there's always the risk of so much sharp money coming in, it could go down to 4.5. So again, you have to make those decisions. Keep on top of it. We won't be here to do a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday recording, so you'll have to kind of collect that data yourself. But try to figure out which way it's going with the money line, plus or minus, and what the different books across the board are doing, like in the Vegas Insider. They generally show all the different numbers, and then you will get a better sense of it. All right, so that's in the case of the Denver and New England matchup. That's all we have for you. We will have a Super Bowl pick for you. On the Seattle at home versus the Rams, right now the line is 2.5, Seattle -2.5. And give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. I had to double check my numbers really quick. But anyway, so going again, just touching on the Stidham versus New England Bowl at the 5.5 and 42.5. Again, it's a lean on Denver plus the 5.5, but we think you should wait. We think it gets up to 6 or 6.5. If you want to lay it now, I would buy the 2 points. Now you have a touchdown and the hook. You have a touchdown with the hook. We personally love that. at Denver plus the 7.5. I wish we could have that for my ticket, to be honest, right? But we do think that there is a path that they could win that game outright. But we're not confident enough to have you put your hard-earned money on it, because that's a feeling we have. We see a path, but we don't. There's too many experts that think that they cover but don't win outright, and then there is a quarter of the experts that do think that New England is just going to take it to town and have the rematch of the interception with Butler with Seattle and Patriots. Whatever, we will wait and see. We hope not, personally, right? Okay, on the Seattle game, minus 2.5 with the total being 47.5. The first meeting went well under that total, right? It was a 19-17 game with Seattle kicking a 60-yarder, but it was rushed. It was kind of a weird scenario at the end of the game, but at 60 yards, and Myers just missed it. So with 3 turnovers and not playing their best ball, the Seahawks almost won that game. They lost by 2. In the rematch, you guys all know that Thursday night thriller. They were down by 16 points, came back, tied it up. Then in overtime, the Rams scored immediately and first, making it 37-30. Seattle answered. Darnold proved himself, but then tripled down on the third of 3 in a row, 2-point conversions, and nailed it. And they won that game 38-37. If you look at this game, their last 2 meetings, their total yardage, they're separated by 1 yard. Their total points scored, they're separated by 1 point. We can see this game. I personally think this game they win pulling away. I think they win by 10, 13, 14 points pulling away, because I think this defense is just, they're peaking at the right time. They're humming. They are in sync. Christian McCaffrey could not get any yards against them. Purdy, in the second game, okay, Kittle not there and everything, but in the San Francisco game, in San Fran in Week 18, 3 points. In total, in 2 games, they scored 9 points. Even against a battered team, that is hard to do against a good coach team like a Shanahan San Francisco 49er team. I think that is, it all hinges on, the defense is going to play lights out. Special teams, small edge to Seattle, obviously with Shaheed, but McVay, I think that he's so aware of that, he's just going to give them the extra 5 yards and kick it into the end zone and not give Shaheed any chance to return the ball at any time in kickoffs. On punts, there may be a little bit of a chance at a return. But on the kickoffs, I don't think that he's going to mess around. I think he's going to give up the extra 5 yards and just kick it into the end zone. That's my theory. Many of the experts all think this comes down to exactly what it did in the first 2 meetings. 1 point. A 24-23, a 21-20, a 17-16 game, 31-30 game. They all think that it comes down to that. So here's where we are on the side. If we had to take a total on this game, with the way the Seattle defense plays and the way we think the Rams are going to come out, it's almost going to be like the national championship game with Miami and Indiana. The first quarter is going to be a feel out and not let the other side try to feel both sides are going to be feeling each other out. So we expect that there probably won't be too much fireworks but both of these teams are capable of exploding. But we still think that if you give them a quarter of no scoring and a second quarter of kind of jab and nobody really landing a knockout blow, we could totally see something like the Chicago game where it's a 7-7, 7-10, 10-13 ball game at the half. Now I know that's already cutting it tight, right? But because in the third and fourth quarter if they explode. But if we had to lean, we would lean on the under. But here's my final say on this with the over-under. If it rises early before Saturday from 47.5 to sharp money, going to 48.5 or even taking it to 49, then catch it before it gets to that key number 49 and take the over. Follow the sharps on this one. But if it starts to go down before Saturday, even by a point, just 1 point to 46.5, we like the under. And again, don't forget to buy back that 1 or 2 points to cover you, because it could come in. A lot of the Rams totals, the Chicago game, there's quite a few of their totals have come down to right on the number. And the Seattle Frisco game came right down to the number. The books have been very accurate on their over-unders, especially the NFC West. Now, on the side, again, I think it's going to be a comfortable, like up by more than a touchdown. But our team and the data shows out, and we like Seattle. If you don't want to play the money line, we like the money line the best. We love the money line, but because we think it comes down to a very tight game, we see a path or a road but too many experts are calling for that. I don't think so, but money line's the safest bet because there is no ties in playoff games. But if you cannot afford it, I think that 2.5 should be okay. I just hate to give that to you, and we miss by a half a point. So for our official pick, we're telling you take Seattle at the money line, but as a lean, we are telling you take Seattle minus the 2.5. And we think that the Super Bowl is going to be much clearer. Once we get to the Super Bowl, we think that that's going to be a much clearer game, and that will be a lot more comfortable of a win. But going into this game, we expect a couple of doozies, a couple of tight ones. And so, again, we lean Denver. 5.5 is fine, but we think that you should wait to 6 or 6.5. No total on that game. On the Seattle game, we like the money line, Seattle at home, to win the game outright. But we'll lean, for those of you who can't afford the money line or don't want to bet the money line, 2.5 should be okay. They should win by a field goal. But a lot of our experts that we put together the data do think it comes down to a 1 or 2 point game. Just that warning ahead of you. All right, we will be back next week, hopefully with some great news. I'll say this now: if we nail this ticket, if we nail the final two, the Super Bowl matchup, the big one, going from the draft all the way through till first week of kickoff, we will continue to give you all content 100% free. We'll work for free because we want to get you guys kick-started, and then we will still have every week free picks for you through next season, but there will be a premium coming, a special where you can speak directly to us, and we will give you personal guidance week to week on a paid basis. But if we hit this ticket, which we pray that we will continue to give you guys everything free from the draft through the preseason up until week 1 kickoff. All right. Aloha and mahalo for checking in. Congratulations yet again for a comeback last week, because, oh my God, wild card week, as you guys know, was not the prettiest. It was our worst week of the year. But we still ended up coming out with a plus and positive season overall. We did very well. We'll also, over the off season, show you guys our ESPN receipts to our college, how well we did, because we are going to open it up to college next year, because we did too darn well. We just picking sides, not ATS, but just sides. We did almost 90% on our college picks for the bowl season, and even against the spread, we were in the high 70 percentile. I think we finished at 76%. But we'll show you the receipts. because we were very proud of that. But again, we did not carry college this week because we were just getting rolling, and this is our first year doing this. And so we wanted to focus on one thing and do that one thing as best as we could. But now that we're getting a little bit more weathered and experienced at it, we feel confident we can carry college and pro for you guys going into next year. All right. Aloha, mahalo. Be good to yourselves. Be kind to each other. Good luck this week. May you cash out at the window. Hope to see you guys there. Look for me in Circa. Me and the wife and the team will be down there downtown, and we'll be at Circa to be watching the AFC and NFC championship games. All right. We'll see you next week.